This one's for the disruptors, the uncommon, the unconventional, the rebels. You're not here to take things lying down. Well, season 2 is about shaking things up. I'm Beatrice, and this is the Art of Branding podcast. Be ready, be badass. Let's shake some shit up.
And we're back with Michael, one of the 2 co-hosts for season 2 of the Art of Branding podcast for today's episode. Michael brings 2 decades of business experience, accelerating profits, giving business owners their time back, and its results guaranteed. Between that and his bright red "Don't Be Shit" cap, he ruffles some feathers, and that's what we're all about this season. So, Michael, we've known each other for a darn minute, and the VCC brand has evolved so much since we first started talking to each other. It's a powerful brand symbol and voice. What's the journey been like?
Interesting, in a word. So I think like when we look at the journey, it's let's start at the beginning, right? Like that's the place to start. So when I first went, yes, this is what I'm gonna go and do, and inspired by some people that I was helping that became my first client saying, hey, you should do this thing. Like what you're doing to help us out is super valuable, and we will actually pay you money for that, which was like, that was a good Kickstarter, and then backed up with, what was happening with the family business and, a few challenges that we had there that we needed to resolve. And how it started was basically my face running into a brick wall and coming out the gates into the coaching industry, and then realizing that it's definitely not rainbows and unicorns and the land of the plenty out there, and the coaches and consultants definitely don't have the best name out in the marketplace. And that was very interesting. So going from that to now has been a trek, and we've gone from initially making it to make it work. I was at one point, I was probably like 3 weeks away from going, okay, I'm gonna have to, if I really want to do this, I'm gonna have to get a job to keep this going, which thankfully I made it work and I didn't have to. Before that, to this month just passed, so where are we? May is the biggest month that we've ever had in the business, like massive month. And we've gone through change in brand with Don't Be Shit getting brought in, which is, that layer of accountability of we know what to do, when to do, how to do it, and we get it done. And we're really out there kicking goals. And in the last 12 months, it's over $9,000 in revenue attributed directly to what we're doing to clients. And that's not including the indirect stuff that happens just from the work. So it's been an experience, and I've gone from doing it solo to I have an executive assistant now, which is my wife, and we sold her business, so she's in the business. We're in the process of bringing on new consultants, where we've got some contractors on the outside that are really helping pump out results for clients as well. And it's just going massive, and it's just sort of hit the first step to the next 10 years of just really growing businesses and helping people be successful in business and grow their communities around them.
That's the thing. I know before, it was this even on LinkedIn, for example, right? Like how the brand presented to now, where it's very much like that right hook in the face, and it's very much like, okay, people pay attention. It reflects to all the stories that you've told me about people that you're having conversations with, that it's so much more accurate and reflective of that. And have you noticed, the conversations or the recognition before you started all this, don't be shit alleyway, and beforehand, where it was I'm going to say this, but it looked really like crap. the banner and everything. I was like, oh Lord. But now it's
Like
just
if we look at like even LinkedIn, let's talk LinkedIn, you know, the banner, like about section, everything like that, it's a work in progress and it always will be a work in progress. It is a lot better than what it was. And like what I would say just to anyone, and like it's always relevant, is that we don't need the perfect banner. We don't need the perfect logo. Like all of that stuff is great to have, but is not necessary to get clients. And it makes it easier, and we want to align things. The important thing, especially in my space, is get out there and help people. And that has been the biggest difference of everything, is just we actually go and do the thing. And then, like right now, for transparency, my website's a bit of a shambles, and like that's getting a full massive overhaul. We've got people coming in working through the social media, and like I've got, you know, marketing consultant that's level above again from where I'm at, that's coming through and looking at all the stuff. So we're working hard in the background to get all of that stuff a bit slicker, but I think the journey from the point of view of being able to articulate to people is to, we need to stop worrying about being perfect and go and take action. And then as we become better and we become closer to perfect by doing the things and understanding our clients more and understanding the messaging better, because when we first start, we don't really know. We've got a thesis. We have an expectation of what's going to happen, but until we hit the marketplace, like it's all just theory.
I would say making it, that voice, be it online, be it in person, be it like whatever it may be, it should be the same vibe everywhere at the very base, like beyond, how a website looks, etc. It's like, am I going to get the same kind of voice or the same kind of experience online compared to in person or compared to in the DMs or elsewhere?
And look, that's the ideal. And I'm not saying, just to clarify, I'm not saying to anyone that don't go and try and have a decent banner, or don't like. In an ideal world, you want all of that stuff, and we have evolved as we've come along. But it's that alignment is, especially from social media to like the person that you are in the real world, is so important, and it will take you miles. Because if you go, let's say if I went and had the perfect banner and then someone spoke to me and it didn't line up, there's just a break in trust before you even start.
Speaking of things that speak to you, do you have brands or people that inspire you to have this incredible, no shit's given, but like no bullshit?
Look, this may be popular or unpopular for a lot of people, but like I'm a huge Alex Mosey fan. He talks about like the Kardashians and stuff like that, and getting angry that like they're in front of him, and like he is younger than me, and that kind of like makes me a little bit angry that I didn't get my shit together earlier to sort of go and do the things. So there is that, but I just love the approach to, just because I'm just one of the things that I did, especially first coming into this, is I was very like, oh, this is what people want. And I was rolling around in a suit, and I was like, I want to say trying to play in between certain guidelines. And the best thing I did was ever show up and be unapologetically me. And like trying to get me in a suit now is almost non existent. So Alex Mosey's is definitely be one from that particular point of view. His wife Layla is probably like an unsung hero that most people don't talk about too, and she's so good with the way that she articulates about people and just SOPs and the way that they work through things. So I'm part of a international coaching group called Focus.com, sorry, and some of the people that are in there and what they're doing, that they're just like, you would never see them on social media and you just don't know what they're doing. But some of those guys they're doing big numbers and they're doing really well for themselves, or they've had that experience in the past, and being able to talk to those guys has been huge.
Do you think that he has like a hustle bro vibe? Because I don't know, I've spoken to a few people yes, like, certain things that he said has rubbed them in the wrong way. And I see that how he approached that as well. I'm like, okay, he's like trying to ruffle some feathers. It is going to like push people away for sure. But then he's got that very strong, like, I don't know, hustle vibe to him. What do you think?
I think you've experienced this from me before, where I've told you to go and shoot 20 odd DMs to someone within this time frame, kind of thing. Like, I'm very much about, to get like the message of you want quality, you need to do volume to get quality because you are not good enough to do the thing yet. So I support that. What I would say is he also is in a different like space of life that myself and a lot of clients that I have are, whereas we've got kids or we've experienced other things and we're a little bit further along than where he is. So not everything can resonate because you can't necessarily move your life and put your life in the same kind of direction. But it's like it's with anyone is you don't need to resonate with every single thing that someone says to be able to learn good lessons or be inspired by what they say or even just stop to think and like you can learn what not to do from people and sometimes that is more important than learning what to do. Hustle bro, look, it's not for everyone. What I do just sort of want to challenge is some of the people that I come across personally that say the hustle bro stuff are just the people that they want what he has, but they are not willing to do the work to get what he has.
That's an interesting example, actually. It reminds me of this recent hoo-ha on on LinkedIn where this gentleman, I'm not going to name names, but he posted a very opinionated post about how business women should dress and how they should act and what they should be putting on social media so that they can be taken seriously. I had a look at the other posts that he was putting up, and it's all extreme. Like, in whatever thought it is very extreme. And it's like there to go and just annoy certain people, to push away certain people. Exactly like a week later, he posted up a post like, okay, would you like $10,000 over X amount of weeks? If that's something that you're interested in. Like, there's more detail to the post, obviously. It's better written than what I'm saying right now. But would you like that? And just put in yes in the comments. The comments was full of yeses. That was like extreme example, but one that works.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about this quite regularly because we're talking about building brands and everything and really finding your space and being like the only for someone. To do that, you need to speak to that person in a way that resonates with them. And guess what? That is going to piss some other people off, and that is okay. And ideally, that's what you want to do because when you don't have haters, you are just towing the line. And like, I know for a fact, both in person and online, plenty of people don't like me, and I don't really care. I'm actually, that's not true. I'm happy that they don't because means that I am doing something right. And from the perspective of like just thinking of a personal example is, I posted something that I post every now and again because I know it really, especially in my industry, ruffles feathers, is that I just put a post up that says, if you are not willing to guarantee your results, you are not good enough at the thing to be selling it. And you just watch posts like that just blow up because everyone is too scared or has their version of why we shouldn't guarantee or whatever, or has their own rhetoric around it. And that is okay. This is my belief. And there are some exceptions to the rule, and there's someone that's really good at what they do that sort of piped up and said, I actually legally can't do that. And I'm like, look, that's fair. I hear that. But I'm talking to the people that really are just scared because they are not good enough at the thing and they're concerned about actually getting the result, but they're still happy to sell someone something.
Yeah, to me, that is a big one. I've seen that in a lot of people where it doesn't have to be, especially with service side offerings, right? People are like, oh, but how can I guarantee it when half of the work is from the client side? Well, then you have to put in that side, like, okay, this will happen as long as you do your work, same as I know that you have. Going back to that example, I just wanted to say, like, an add on, I wouldn't just recommend putting out opinions out there only for the sake of ruffling up. Like, if you don't actually believe that, if you're just there to, like, hey, let me just get people talking, yeah, like, it'll work, but at a certain point, like, you will be known for this.
It's just an attraction piece, right? Like that, it's part of, like, if we just look at social media, for example, as a funnel, it's just the attraction part. So it's the top part of the funnel to pull people in who go, hey, I think that way, right? That is what it's for. But you need the next elements, which are warming people up, and then the last part, which is effectively selling to people to effectively push people all the way through and convert into sales, if that's what you're aiming to do with your social media. So it is only one piece of the puzzle, and it's the attraction piece, really, to go, hey, yes, I like what this person says. I want to hear more.
And keeping it, like, in line with what you actually believe. Speaking of that, have you found maintaining that voice, that essence, that don't be shit essence, be it in person, be it on socials, have you found that?
Well, I was walking around in a national conference with nearly 500 people there with my "Don't be shit" hat on, so pretty good, really. I don't have any issues because, like, I just believe it. Like, it's the case of majority of the things that we aren't achieving is because we aren't taking the actions that we know how to take. So, but we don't do it, and then we're not getting the outcome. So the best thing that I can do for anyone that works with me is just go, hey, you need to go and do this, get it done. And what happens from client side is they get to the point that, like, this is how some clients have described it, is they've got, like, little, in place of their little angel and devil on their shoulders, they just instead have two little Michael Clifts on either side with "Don't be shit" hats on when they don't want to do something, saying, hey, don't be shit, get it done. And they go and do the thing. And I even have to the point that I've got to lay it into when you sign up as a client. We have a conversation. Like, this is just how it goes. Like, here's the snippet. If we are not doing the thing for you, so if we're not providing the best possible service so that you can get the outcomes that you are hoping to get from us, sit down, let's have a conversation, and we will rectify it. And if we don't, we expect you to fire us as your coaches and consultants, right? On the flip side, if you are not showing up to the sessions, if you are not doing the work, if you are not taking action on the agreed upon steps, because it is like, we don't force people to do stuff, it's agreed upon actions that's to their benefit, then we're going to have a conversation. And if you don't rectify that, we're going to fire you as a client because you're being shit and you don't have, like, we're going to go help someone who wants to get it done.
It's really having those values and sticking to them. And, that brings me back. The last time that you were on here solo was about a year ago. And we were talking about mission and vision of businesses. Has your opinion about mission and vision changed since then?
Not at all. In fact, the more that I go, the more that I see that people don't respect it at all. Just it's not even in their field of vision, because I talk about and think about it all day, and then I just talk to business owners all day that wouldn't even consider having a mission for their business. They're like, oh, well, why do we need it? They wouldn't consider the vision. They don't realize that what comes from that is the values, so that we can go and we can give both your clients something to resonate and your employees something to have as guidelines to drive what they do within the business. So super passionate about it, and if anything, more passionate than I was before.
Fair point. Well, in that case, I'll ask, are there any brands or businesses that you see, aside from Hermosi, that inspire you as really disrupting their industries?
Look, there's one that I'm a little bit excited about, which maybe I shouldn't be, but it's still like it's really got me excited. I think it's free water. Is that what it's called? If you know what it is, where the guys are out there putting ads on water bottles and they give out the water for free, and the companies just pay for ad space on the water bottles, and then water's free. I can't love that enough. I think that's really cool. Um, that's probably the main one that comes to mind right now.
They really shook that up. I remember you sending me that like a while back, and I'm just like, they need that everywhere. Why should people have to pay for such the basic need, right? At this point, there's even places in the world, like, for example, Southeast Asia, where you have to pay for it. Even places here in Europe, where it should be free because the water is drinkable, and they still charge you.
Look, and it's so crazy too, because you watch them on social media as they're handing out and I'm just, for the benefit of the doubt, I'm assuming that it's like legit and they're handing out the water and this is actual people's responses and everything. And people just like look at them and like, what do you mean it's free? Like, what? Like, because it's just the disbelief that they are actually giving out the thing. And look, it's not technically free. Someone is paying for it so that they can have it, and it's the companies that are running ads through it. But like, I love the concept and I think it's really great. And it's very different to like, Coca-Cola, right? Like that's going and they go and do deals. And like, there's a thing going on in my local area at the minute where they're talking about Coca-Cola's pulling water from the bore water. And they've had this agreement for a super long time with a private property, and it's actually lowering the water table in the area because there hasn't been enough rain. So they're trying to change the legislation to reduce the amount that they can pull out of it. And like, obviously Coca-Cola is like not really on board with that because it does go into like their Mount Franklin water and stuff like that. But from that perspective, yeah, it's not ideal. Then like they're out there and they're making plenty of money off it. And from what has been reported on, and like that could be not right, but from what I've read, from what it's reported on, like they pay next to nothing for that as well. So
unbelievable. So it's a good thing, having more people shaking up that water industry, be it Liquid Death, be it others, like loving this. Anyhow, thank you so much for coming on, mate. You can connect with Michael through the deets in the podcast show notes. Thanks for listening to the Art of Branding podcast. A great way to support more people to create their own badass brand is dropping a 5-star review and ready to shift your business from just another to the obvious one. Visit badasserybyb.com to get started. Let the badassery flow.
Time for bloopers. Yay!
Do.
my network is struggling. I didn't actually realize that Descript powered this, which is pretty cool.
It's like, yes, we're here. It's like the Star Wars version of, I don't know, somebody joined. Yes, that is handy. Oh, shit. Son of an Arabian goat. Okay.
The internet is terrible at the minute with the weather, so I don't know.
Are you good from your end? It's saying it's like slow.
Let's see how it goes.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it.